Let's get digital. Digital, I want to get digital. Can you hear my laptop dock?
It's been a long time in the making, an even longer time in the thinking. Welcome to Marketing Q&A. I am so glad to be back in front or behind of a microwave, or should that be a microphone? The first error already in a long line of gaffes, doubtlessly coming your way from the Marketing Q&A studio, also known as my house. It's great to be with you, and I'm here to tell you exactly what's going on. This is a snake oil and charlatan-free zone. We're here purely to give you tips, tricks, tools, tactics and techniques, building bulletproof modern marketers. You try saying that in a bar after 7 tequilas. Well, what is a marketer, you might ask? That, to me, is anyone these days. If you're on the web, you're freaking marketing, aren't you? So here's how this is going to work. Marketing Q&A for me is going to be about helping you. We're going to do a show roughly every week, not quite ironed out the factualities yet, but we'll supplement that with a tweet chat that will cover the week's show and help you ask in more detail questions that, obviously, after all, this is Marketing Q&A. You put the Q in and I'll give you an A for the latest stuff. Everything that's going on, it's going to be on Twitter to start with. There is a website, marketingqa.com, although, to be perfectly honest, right now it's a bit of an unformed beast. On this week's show, and the reason why I'm putting this out right away, top of the hour, as the experts say, is all about a brand new course that bizarrely ends its certification on Thursday, so you've got to jump right in. Today, bear in mind, is the 25th. It's a Tuesday of the March 2014. This is why I'm broadcasting this to you, using the method, the means and the madness of the web to get into your ears, because you need to jump on this quick. I'm also going to be sharing with you, I mentioned tips. I'm going to give you a tip. I'm going to give you a couple of tales. I'm going to give you a tactic, and I might even give you a technique. There's lots coming up in today's show. Better keep it quick. Don't want to lose you so early on in the cycle. Otherwise, you'll just end up going to Marketing Q&A on Twitter and never use your ears for what they were born for, which is to listen in and find out much more about what we can do to help you become a mightier marketer in the modern world. I said the first thing I need to share with you is about Google Analytics, and I'll tell you why. If you're marketing today and you're doing anything in the digital realm, the only thing that really matters is measuring your effectiveness, finding out, once you've got the website up there, what people are clicking on, what people find interesting, and all about the dynamics and the anatomy of your website. And that's where Google Analytics is so powerful. Of course, you can get lots of other different tools. There's Whoopera, there's Click something, there's this and that. My mind is clearly muddled and fuddled today. It's a long day ahead. And anyway, this is why Google Analytics to me is working so well, because it's free, right? So anybody can do it. The code is really easy. You just go into the end of your spiel on your webpage. Hopefully you'll be using something like WordPress because it makes it a whole lot easier. Before the closing body tag in the HTML on your page, you squirt in this Google Analytics code, and it's as easy as that. And there really is so many different run-throughs online. You cannot go wrong. But Google Analytics has gone a step further here to actually help you understand the machinery, the power of Google Analytics, and it's created its own academy. So they've already created the very first course. That's out there. You can take that whenever you like. But the second course, which in many ways is a precursor to the first, is called Google Analytics Platform Principles. You can look that up on Google, ironically, but I'm going to give you a link to it now. It's marketingqa.com/1. It's the very first link that I've shared with you on the Marketing Q&A show, which in itself is pretty exciting, isn't it? Now, this course comes complete with a certificate, so you can tell your boss that you're really going places with analytics, that you are the numero uno data scientist in your organization. But you can only sign up and complete the course with certification if you do all of this stuff by the end of the day, Thursday, the 27th of March. Fear not, this is not an impossible task because it's about 2 hours to do this. marketingqa.com/1. Get a certificate to print out at the end of it. It's probably got Google on it. It looks great. You might be able to walk straight into the offices and go, listen, I've completed the second swanky course from the Google Academy for Analytics. Give me a job. Who knows? Sounds great. But if you're any form of marketer, passionate, if you're a business owner and you just want to get up to speed with what you can do on your website without having to pay thousands of pounds to some shonky marketing type just to say, oh yeah, I can tell you how many visits you've got on your website, like that actually matters. It's all about attention minutes these days, apparently, according to various sources out there. marketingqa.com/1. Get there today, get there tomorrow. Leave it till Thursday if you must, but make sure that you can allocate that chunk of time. Get that certificate and be an incredible data scientist.
In tricks and tips.
Couple of tips for you, and these are manifesting themselves as web links to websites with some incredible content on that you can take to heart today. The first one is from Christopher S. Penn, who himself co-hosts a podcast called Marketing Over Coffee. Strongly recommend you go over there. This guy is a genius. Anyway, he is now the VP of Marketing Technologies at Shift Communications. Make sure you throw the F in there or else you could go awry. Anyway, at the Shift Communications blog, he has written about how virtually impossible it is to get in front of your likers on Facebook. Major brands, after quite a lot of experimentation, have seen their updates tumbling in popularity, and this is because they are appearing close to 0 times in people's news feeds. Unless, of course, and this is the caveat emptor, you pay Facebook a significant fundage, so in the form of sponsored posts or general advertising. Obviously, this is going to impact big time on small businesses, on local businesses, and unless you can build a community who is disciplined and a disciple-like person who can come to your Facebook page to get the latest, they ain't going to see it unless you put serious amounts of money into your Facebook marketing. Might be something you want to do, and here's another thing that Chris points out that is such a salient point. If you have lots and lots and lots and lots of likes, you have to pay lots and lots and lots and lots of money to reach a percentage of that community. If you've got a small number of likes, you can probably reach them all for a few pounds, maybe on a regular basis. Depends how many times you want to promote your posts and get your stuff out there. But this really speaks to something that I was talking about on Twitter the other day about your 1,000 true fans. If you can identify the customer who you want to reach, it's so much easier to build a liking community which is very specific to what you're trying to drive at with your business and get the customers onto your Facebook page who are going to matter to your business now and in the future. Before I move on to the second tip, just wanted to give a quick hat tip to Spreaker.com. Spreaker host this incredible show in the making, and they were the guys who will pump it to iTunes for you so you can subscribe to it to your heart's content. I'm guessing fairly soon we will be on iTunes. For now, you're going to be able to download this and join the conversation on Twitter at marketingqa, or you can go over to the website, which, as I say, isn't much right now, marketingqa.com. It isn't much without you being there, of course, so get over there and give that a listen. And before I do move on, I must mention this week has been quite busy at HQ Work, because this is just a little bit of a sideline for me. I'm not making any money out of it. Just want to share with you experiences that I've had working in digital marketing throughout the week and throughout the month and throughout my life, really, because it has been a bit of a hard slog at the coalface. This week, I've been working on a marketing campaign for a sub-brand that has lost its way, but also I've been figuring out how to use social media to appeal to the owner of a lost and marginally dangerous owl. Both have been reunited now, but it's quite a challenge, really. How do you put out on social media about an owl with big talons without provoking the fear of the public? You know, curious massacring owl, an owl that could kill your chihuahua is lurking in a forest, and you know, it's scary, really, isn't it? But obviously it might have had its talons clipped. I don't think it actually posed any threat to anybody, but interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Well, how do you deal with social media when things like this arise? Crisis communications but in a very small way. Be interesting to find out what you think, actually. What's been the most unusual use of social media for you? Why don't you @Marketing Q&A me, and let's have a little bit of a discussion. We might bring it into the conversation at some point with the hashtag MQA. That's M for mother because it's Mother's Day on Sunday in the UK. Q for question and A for answer. You provide the Q and I'll do the A for you. Second tip then, and this is really important. We talked just earlier about the Christopher S. Penn thing, about the Facebook stuff, and how if you're a local business, you need to figure out ways of getting close to your community without necessarily spending the big bucks. Now, if you are a local business and you have local customers, then you might want to get over to marketingqa.com/3. Didn't mention, of course, that marketingqa.com/2 was the Christopher F. Penn, get me words in order in a minute, for the shiftcom.com blog article about Facebook. But the copy blogger article about local businesses at marketingqa.com/3 is about helping local businesses get their search game on. Copy blogger has always been on my hit list for great inspiration when it comes to digital marketing, and Eugen is no exception to the rule. It's a fairly recent article, and it's all about how you should be getting your name out there to the customers that matter, which really is a cornerstone of effective digital marketing, is it not? Talks about how to work with Google Local, how about getting reviews, but also covers the less obvious stuff, like obviously keywords being so important. But I say less obvious because we don't always think about our keywords. It is a really crucial part of the SEO mandate. Things like geosite maps, something that I'd never thought about before. Local outreach to third parties and partners. All these great ways that you can do business on a shoestring using digital marketing. Strongly recommend you get over to marketingqa.com/3 for an insight there into what's going on at Copyblogger.
Inspirational.
Putting the T into tails is a book I've just read called What Happens in Vegas Stays on YouTube. It's been written by Eric Qualman, or @EqualMan on Twitter. I love that Twitter name. I'd like one like that myself. I'll stick with Marketing Q&A for now. This is the third in a trinity of books focusing on the power of doing things well digitally. His first two were Socialnomics. You'll probably have seen that fabulous YouTube presentation that tells you 900 billion people have spent 25 trillion minutes on Facebook since 2012 or something like that. And also the fact that, in the past 2 years, there's been more content created than any time since mankind began. All good stuff like that. I don't think that's on that presentation. It might just come out of my head. But the Socialnomic stuff was great. Digital Leader was his second book, which was all about the principles of building a brand online using some quite executive language. I have to say, the guy has got smarts in this department. But the third, What Happens in Vegas Stays on YouTube, is a startling realization of the power of social media, just how entrenched it's become in our lifestyles. And I think if you are new to using social media for your business, or you have new crew members who are going to have social media as an important part of their job, you would really be best advised to jump on this. It's a great piece of kit. It's a very inexpensive book. Followers of his actually got it free on Kindle a few weeks ago. You might have been one of the lucky ones, but I was reviewing it from NetGalley. If you're heavily into business books and you have an outlet, then you can build a free library using NetGalley to review. Obviously, this is a way of getting the word out there. And again, it's another great example of digital marketing, right? So if you've got influencers out there in your field, build a hub where they can get together, give them free stuff in return for them doing great stuff for you. It's a valiant example of digital marketing is NetGalley. But I really recommend this. I've put a review on the blog, Amazon blog, Amazon store. What Happens in Vegas Stays on YouTube. Strongly recommend it. Eric Qualman. And again, why don't you tweet him once you've read it, Equalman, and tell him how good it was. And next time on episode 2, I'm going to be talking about spin sucks. by a very good friend of mine, Jeannie Dietrich from spinsucks.com, one of the real mavens and mavericks in the PR space in the US. Not her first book. She co-wrote a book called Marketing in the Round, but I think this one is going to be even better. I'll be talking to you about that book in the next episode. Assuming you're going to be with me, you'll be able to hear it, of Marketing Q&A, the podcast. I've just been thinking, and I might have mentioned before, book club. Do you like the idea of getting together, whether it's a hangout or whether it's on a tweet chat, to talk through a digital marketing book? I certainly do. You'll have to let me know, though, because otherwise I'm not going to bother. At Marketing Q&A on Twitter. And we can talk that through, but I'd be very delighted to host or share that experience with you. Hangouts is always a good spot, isn't it? We can get to know each other a little bit better and opine through the methods and the magic of video. That'd be nice. Anyway, have a think about it. It's up to you. Tools now. And you know I'm a big fan of Twitter, and I'm jaded when it comes to Facebook. I'm also liking Google+. I've set up a community over there. I'm not going to reveal that in great detail yet because there's not an awful lot on, but this show will go on it, and as it grows, I might leak it to you so you can join the party. Bring your bunting and a few vol-au-vents. I'd like to see you there, and if you've got some form of food or beer, or in fact great things to share to help us grow our businesses together through the madness of marketing. But the tool I want to share with you this week is Twitonomy at twitonomy.com. When I was looking to grow a community at work on Twitter, I was thinking, there's so many different little hangers-on in the tweet space, all these companies that have been built up to try and soak up your money to pretend do you a favour. And, sorry, I was just looking at the digital recorder then, and I thought it's flashing at me. If it flashes, it's not recording, it's just set up and ready to rock. And my heart sank, because you can hear, I think my voice is going to go anytime soon. And that ain't a pretty thing when you're trying to tell somebody something, and you would not appreciate that. I'd be whispering at you. It'd be even harder to hear, harder to bear than the show in its current state. But Twitonomy is one of those great applications, one of those great tools online, just in the web browser, twitonomy.com, that actually is so super powerful that I can't believe some people have overlooked it. Together with Follower Wonk, that I'll be talking about next week, that's one now owned by Moz, some kind of crazy marketing system purveyors, hoping to get them on the show actually sometime soon, which would be a bit of a coup. Twitonomy does things like, doesn't just allow you to manage your Twitter activity, effectively gives you this really powerful dashboard that feels a little like Google Analytics, where you can move modules around so that your Twitonomy homepage gives you only the information you want to see right at the right time. It's brilliant. But I actually think its power lies elsewhere in those modules, more specifically. You can do things like visualize mentions on a map. So if you are a local business, you can make sure that all the people that are talking about you are local. You can delve deep into those specific people, those tweeps, to make sure that you are targeting the right people. Because the best thing about Twitter is being able to, hello. That's nice, isn't it? Having a gardener on spec just when you're trying to record a show. You couldn't make this stuff up. The great thing about Twitter is this one-to-one conversation. I mean, sure, you can schedule tweets and put your ideas and thoughts out there, but you're never going to build proper, effective relationships until you go direct to the other person, to the one person, to the group of people. I saw somebody just the other day did a very good thing where he reached out to a lot of his connected people on Twitter and asked them a question. He created a blog post from all of the answers, and then he went out to all those people and said, hey, you're featured on this article. Come along, give it a read. What do you think? And everybody suddenly felt important for a minute. There was 30 seconds of fame. I've appeared on a blog article. People care what I've got to say. It was killer. It's a great example of how to use Twitter. Make people feel special. Make their thoughts seem important, because they are important and you're important. So share your thoughts at Marketing Q&A. Anyway, get over to Twitonomy. The free version's great. You just sign in using a Twitter account and then it pulls everything down. It makes it easy for you to look at detailed lists of the status of people that are mentioning and retweeting you and their potential reach. It goes a lot further. It feels a little like analytics.twitter.com, which is primarily there for advertisers, but anybody can jump into that, and there's some great insight there into how Twitter can work for your business. Or you can go for the Twitonomy Premium Edition, $199 a year or $19 a month. And this is so much more about, I mean, you can already download stuff using the free version, but you can download stats very, very intuitively as Excel files in the Pro version to mash up with your Google Analytics account to understand better the entire ecosystem that you're creating through your business. You can back up your followers to spreadsheets. You can download any user's retweeted and favorite tweets to get better insight into the people you're trying to. Say you've got 100 people on Twitter that are your prospective clients of the future. You can get into their heads. You can understand them to a far more intelligent level than I think pretty much any other Twitter application on the planet. So get over there, twitonomy.com. You don't have to tell them I sent you because they don't want to know anyway, but I think it's Twitonomy, @Twitonomy on Twitter, if you've got any specific inquiries about that platform. But I strongly recommend you get over there and give it a shot. And as I mentioned, follow a wonk next week, maybe talking to Moz about that, get them in and see what they think about the whole thing. Anyway, without further ado, I think that's a wrap for the first episode of Marketing Q&A, your essential accomplice and acquaintance for building incredible businesses online, becoming the modern marketer that you deserve through tips, tricks, tools, tactics and techniques, because that's what we're here for. You're what matters. I'm just helping you get ahead. Always love to hear from you. I'm Dave Thackeray, your regular host, hoping to get guests on in the future, because let's face it, even I'm boring myself here. Thanks for sticking by. You've been listening to Marketing Q&A. Get over to @Marketing Q&A on the webs, on the Twitter, and tell us what you think. Until next time, really do wish you a fabulous week and love you. Bye for now.